First of all, Azerbaijan and Slovenian relations are developing successfully. What can you say about the current level of the relations between the two countries?
The relations between the two countries are excellent. I mean, there are no open questions, nothing. We just have understanding, a lot of knowledge about each other, and especially now I have to say that I'm very glad that I'm here. Thanks for inviting me to the studio for this discussion. Our political dialogue is very intensive during the last few years. Also, the economic cooperation is growing steadily. It's not big, but it's growing steadily, and that's why I know it is important that we have inaugurated during these days the Honorary Consul of Slovenia in Azerbaijan. That will help, boost economic relations. But I also have to point out, maybe this is the most important thing by which there is a broader knowledge of Azerbaijani Slovene population. Partisan Mihailo, the hero who was fighting against fascism and Nazism on the Slovenian territory during the Second World War. So there are a lot of aspects where we come together, where we understand each other, and I'm glad for this. This is very good, for the relation between the countries, and also to show the example to others.
In which fields of economy Azerbaijan and Slovenia for the future could cooperate?
There are some important areas where we already have a good cooperation. For example, IT sector. One of the leading Slovene companies, Iskratel, opened office here some time ago, just recently, I think half year or something. This is one important area. Another important area is agriculture, food production, exchange, not only food production as such, but also exchange knowledge and expertise about this. Then we have construction engineering sector. One of the Slovene most known companies, Rico, is also planning to open the office here. Then administration building. We have quite a lot of good experience during the last 24-25 years in Slovenia, how to establish and how to make better the administration to function, to work. This is also closely related to our membership in the EU and other organizations. So this is also important, not just for the private sector, but also for the public sector as such. There are good potentials, for cooperation in the pharmaceutical industry. We haven't managed that much to achieve in this, but there is an expertise and knowledge on both sides. In Slovenia, when we hear about Azerbaijan, we immediately think about Caucasus, skiing, and then the sea, and the different, vegetarian areas and so on. And I guess it's something similar when your people hear about Slovenia, Rogaška, and these things.
Yes. And, could you exactly say that what will include to the agenda of the cooperation?
We concluded a few agreements already, so basically we have to focus on concrete projects or concrete examples. I mentioned Iskratel. There is one company called Dual. They are producing that huge domes which are air-filled, which are very useful for situations after earthquakes and floods and such things. So we have to focus on concrete projects between companies, and this is also why we have established a honorary consul here. Business and tourism, I think it will be very good if we manage to agree on a direct charter flights between Slovenia and Azerbaijan.
About the activity of the consulate, you know that a few days ago consulate already opened in Baku in Azerbaijan. And what is your expectations from this consulate, and how do you think the consul will contribute with his activity to boosting bilateral relations between the two countries?
I have to say that we are all very glad, also me personally as ambassador, with Mr. Elnur Alahbadio. He has been appointed a few days ago, on Thursday the 12th of November. It was an inauguration. The process took about 1 year, and he was already during that time, he was helping concretely different Slovene companies, and I received from some of them expression of thanks for his help. So this is the main part of his job as a honorary consul, to connect companies together. You know, the companies which have good products and interest and vision, what to do, how to do, they need business partners here. It's not enough that you just go through the booklet, ask promo booklet about Azerbaijan or about Slovenia. It's good, you know, to connect people together, to bring them together, to introduce them to each other, to show them around. This is for what everybody needs a honorary consul, because you know, we diplomats cannot be all around, and this is one thing. And next, each of us has some certain small understanding and experience with business sector, but this is not enough. For the real top professional business people, they need a business counterpart, and this is why what we expect from our honorary consul, but also now some cultural promotion activities. This goes along each other. You know? We plan to have in the first part of the next year the Slovene days in Baku. We will now combine some business conferences, meetings, cultural activities. So this is what is one expect from the honorary consul as a driving force, you know, of these relations.
Yes, and how do you think about the possibilities of the cooperation between the media of both countries?
Here, one thing is, of course, I think the backbone is formal and informal cooperation between the news agencies. I'm glad that I'm here in studio today. We have been also discussing your formal cooperation with the Slovene press agency, STA. We have to bring both institutions together to formalize, to have a memorandum, to have an agreement, not just to have a paper, but to have a starting point to spread this cooperation. This is one thing. Then, of course, it will be good to exchange visits of media people, of journalists from Slovenia to Azerbaijan and from Azerbaijan to Slovenia, to show them an organized way, you know, the most important, interesting things in both countries, and those issues, those topics which connect us together.
And what is your opinion about the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict?
This is a very difficult issue. You know, I have to say that I deeply sympathize with each, you say, internally displaced person, but each person who was affected by this. I'm very sorry to see, to hear, also as a diplomat, that it takes so much time and the things basically hardly move. You know, we have our two countries similar experience from the last 20, 25, 30 years. So we also we have been through 10 days wars, only 10 days, thank God. So we know how difficult it is for the people, for the countries, for the governments. We hope and support that there will be a solution reached, and it is necessary. I think it is not good in nowadays world, in the 21st century, when we are so advanced that we have conflicts that cannot be solved, and that we have parties involved that are not prepared to move on. You know, so this is I would say universal duty now to solve such problems. I don't have any exact advices suggesting how to do, but there is a Minsk group, there are United Nations, EU, there are many discussions, visits. This has to move on to solve the issue for the benefit of the people, of each people that has been affected and influenced by this.
If you talk about Azerbaijan, which the first comes to your imagine?
Oh, there are many things. There are many things. Of course, first Caucasus, snow, mountains, then the nature, people that are close, at least to us Slovenes. Then, of course, the fact that oil was discovered in your country among the first ones. Then, of course, this is not what came to my mind the first time when I heard about Azerbaijan long ago. But I have to tell this, when I presented credentials to your respected president in early March 2011, we were discussing for almost half an hour, and then at the end he looked at my family name and he told me, Mr. Ambassador, you know that in archaic Azeri language, Yazbek would mean Dazbek a lot of times. So I'm very glad for this, and these are all things that came to my mind when I discuss relations with your country, with your people.
And last question about our cousin, and how you spend your leisure time with your family.
You know, my wife and me, we have one son. He's 26 years old, so he will be soon starting taking care about us, not we about them. I use my my free time primarily, to read and to write. I'm also professor of diplomatic studies. I published many books, so I write to read, to write, and also to lecture and to transfer experience, my experience to younger people. For example, you may heard I published about 32, 33 books, and in my primary school, I visit my primary school whenever I'm at home, and they established in their school library a special bookshelf when there are my books, and then I discuss with kids, and I'm telling them that everybody, each single pupil has a chances to succeed, to make a career. And I try to do this, to work with them, and I find this fascinating. And of course I also find fascinating how many things kids in the primary school or students already know about the world of grown-up people. So I think this is important. I like doing this, enjoying this. And of course I'm visiting also my mother, telling her about my visits. She knows that I'm here. Now I will tell her that I've been here. So this is, I think, important for our lives. Then our lives are not boring, not difficult, and then we can stand everything what passes by. It's very nice, it's very good, especially vegetables, tomatoes, especially tomatoes. I love them, I love them. So various sorts of cheese, but everything is so good here, especially it is so naturally grown without any chemistry. This is a huge advantage, this is a huge wealth. So nowadays they call it organic food, but when we were young it was food, so I just like it.
Yeah, thank you very much.